everyone, you're watching Soundwaves TV. Chasta here with our new favorite, Miss Joyce Lee. Welcome to the Soundwave set.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
You guys don't realize you're joining us mid-whiskey tasting. Miss Joyce was over here giving us all the business about whiskey tasting. Like, you know your stuff.
Yeah, that used to be one of my odd jobs.
Like, musicians have a lot of odd jobs. I appreciate it because finally I can take, watch this, I can take a drink of whiskey without making a face. Are you ready? And I'm actually tasting. I'm actually tasting the notes in the whiskey. So thank you for that.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm always happy to introduce people to new experiences like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy that Mr. Dennis Willis introduced me to you because he met you at the Law Rocks event a couple weeks back, and he was like, "Oh my God, we gotta have Joyce on. She's like this singer-songwriter, and she's got like this soft tone, but then she brings some Alanis and Jewel." And I was like, "Okay, take my money, I'm in." So you're brand new to me. I've just known you for less than 2 weeks, probably, digging into everything you've done. Super duper rad.
Thank you.
You're quite the songwriter, storyteller, lyricist. So I thought we could spend a little time talking about that part of you because you obviously have a beautiful voice, but the songwriting part, when did you start that? Has that always been part of your story?
Yeah, so I started... We're going to go way back on this
Let's
question.
go. We're in the Wayback Machine. I love it.
I started writing poetry a lot when I was a kid. Even going back to second grade or something. I was a really shy kid. Okay. Nobody knew I sang. I never even talked. I had anxiety about raising my hand and answering questions in school. And things were challenging when I was growing up. So one of my safety places was when I would get to write poetry, and that's how I could have permission to feel things, and
that's powerful.
Yeah. And then when I was 16, I discovered punk rock.
Yeah.
And
that's the surprise, by the way. That's the surprising part.
And I was like, what is this? I've never heard this before. And I decided decided right then and there I wanted to be a musician.
Yeah.
Much to my parents' dismay. Because, I don't know if you could tell, I'm very Asian. It's not something you're supposed to do.
This wasn't their plan.
No. It's, doctor.
Yeah.
Or failure.
Yeah. That's the option.
Yeah. So, But I started, so when I was 16, I took all the money I saved from working at the movie theater, and I went and bought my first guitar, and I started teaching myself how to play, and I started writing songs. And then I think where I really hit my stride with songwriting was when I was in LA doing music out there and just getting to work with some really amazing songwriters and producers in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And
specifically training in things like writing good vocal melody lines and how to say it without saying it.
Yeah.
Because your first songs are like, I feel so bad. And then it turns into something more refined,
an artistic expression of feeling bad.
Exactly. Instead of being as on the nose, and now it's just something that's kind of innate in me because I worked really hard at building that, and it's been a really, I don't know where I'd be without music, because that's been my safe place to be me for forever. Yeah.
You're in good company with that notion, because I think that's how we all feel here. And that's how many people that I've talked to in that chair have felt. That I hear a lot that music saved my life, or music was my safe place, or music, was all I've ever known. I mean, I hear that a lot too. So thank God you had it.
No, seriously.
When you found punk rock in particular, because I saw your face light up, because I don't ever say this on camera. I just forgot we're on Soundwaves. We're just having a chat over here. But because there's a lot of opinions about her. But I felt like that when I saw Courtney Love for the first time. Because I was always this very demure sort of girl that didn't really talk when spoken to kind of thing from the South. So when I saw her, I was like, oh, I can be loud. I can have opinions. I can be aggressive. I can like it just really showed me a different side. So it seems punk might have had the same effect on you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I can have a loud voice. I can.
Yeah. No, for sure. I grew up very much like Chinese culture. My parents were immigrants, right? Yeah. So it's very much like that same kind of thing, you know, you're spoken when you're spoken to, my way is a highway if you're a parent, like you just do what I say just because I say it. And like not a lot of agency. And so when I discovered punk rock, and it was like the exact opposite of everything I'd ever like known, you know?
Yeah.
It just felt really freeing and amazing, and like and it was like, I would not be who I am without that particular moment in my life of discovering punk rock and that whole culture, and just like that think for yourself, you know, F what they tell you to do, like, you know, like
I'm going for it.
Just go for it.
It's a cool mix though. Like, and those are the unique things that make you unique as an artist, you know, because you do have that Jewel-esque singer-songwriter vibe, and obviously that's a huge compliment, but with this very sweet voice, but then you do bring that side of it. And so that's cool, because there's so many artists that do very similar singer-songwriter things. And how do you stand out? How do you, like, you know, become who you are? You lean into what makes you you, and you've done that. That's really cool. You've also, it seems, as I've been researching, stalking, if you will, on social, you're really about like mental health. Like, you seem to be a mental health advocate and really speaking up about pushing through adversities. You had an injury that took you out for a little while. Is that right? Tell us about that.
So, the mental health piece, I struggled with depression for a lot of my life. And I learned a lot about it, and I worked really hard to get myself through that. Yeah. With help from some very important people in my life. And then with the injury thing, I've had a lot of ups and downs on my journey. And so,
makes you a better artist. We'll say that.
No, I mean,
that'll be the silver lining.
It's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of it, like a lot of inspiration. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much. No, I'm just kidding.
The struggling artist thing is a thing for a reason.
What ended up happening was I was like, in LA, I was like working a job, like full-time job. And then I was also doing the band thing. And I was like writing songs and doing like just my whole life just was like all you do the day job to make money so that you can do all of the other things. Yeah. But then you're working like 20 to 16 hours a day, like just promoting yourself and doing everything you can. And I ended up injuring myself. So
playing guitar.
Getting injured from the day job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're supposed to set up your desk for you correctly, like so that you don't have like repetitive injuries.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a repetitive injury from working at that job. Even after requesting like accommodations, they
ignored that.
Didn't really do it right. They like gave me half the desk setup for like a month.
Oh, wow.
Instead of waiting to do it all at once, which made me even worse. And then I ended up having like, you know, and I still actually have some issues with it now. But it was really hard. I tried to keep doing music. I started a band where I didn't have to sing or where I didn't have to play a
guitar,
instrument in.
Yeah.
And ended up like, and that didn't work out, and it just like broke my heart. It like was really, really, it really sucked.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. It's hard because I think most people, when it gets to music, they don't do it for the fame or the, you know, they do it because there's this like innate need in you that you have to do it because it's who you are.
I always say musicians that are true musicians do it because they can't not do it.
Yeah, I can't not do it, right? So it felt like a part of me had like died.
Yeah.
It really
you were
did.
Letting go of,
Yeah, but I didn't feel like I had a choice, you know? Like I couldn't play an instrument. I like, you know, it didn't work out with the band members that I tried to work out with. And I just, at a certain point, you like, when you feel like you're just alone and nobody believes in you or believes in what you're doing, like, it's hard not to feel like you need to give up.
Sure.
So I did for a little bit.
For how long? How long's a little bit?
I guess it was more than a little bit. It was a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, because it took a while also for my arms to kind of rehabilitate. And then when I finally kind of started feeling like maybe I could try playing music again, it was probably at least like 6 or 7 years.
Wow, that long.
Yeah.
That's an eternity. I'm sure it felt in your heart to not be able to do what you live to do.
Yeah, it sucked.
That's rough. Were you writing at that time?
Yeah, I still wrote some stuff just for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there were a few years where I didn't write anything at all because it was just...
I can only imagine how that would have you sort of spiral. How did you pull yourself back out of that?
Okay, I'm going to try not to cry.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's important because I have a big feeling that someone watching this is experiencing the same thing and needs to hear how you get on the other side of that.
Yeah. So I had a lot of challenges with feeling understood by some of the people closest to me growing up. I also had some issues where people did not treat me very good, like people that should have, like, you know, were supposed to be taking care of me.
Yeah.
As a child, which were really hard. And so for most of my life, if you study psychology, they have different types of attachments, right? I didn't really have a secure attachment to any kind of parental figure for most of my life.
Okay.
And until like my aunt stepped in, and she was really like that person that just let me be myself and really accepted me for me and was really just, I don't know, like the most amazing example of unconditional love in my life. And I didn't really, I mean, I hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And she rescued me.
She literally was your angel.
She really literally rescued me, and didn't judge and was just there for me. And and so without her showing me that that's possible in my life, I don't know if I would have had the strength to be able to move past my depression and work through it like I did.
Yeah.
And also the PTSD.
Yeah. God bless her.
Yeah.
For like taking that role on. You know, it's so important. And I firmly believe, being a godmother and an auntie, like I believe that, yes, you have your parents that's their job, right? But not all jobs are done well. And so it's okay for someone to step in and play that role for you. And thank God she did. Between her and music and getting you back on your feet again, and look at you now.
Yeah.
Like how far you've come.
She was mom.
She was mom.
I wish, this is why I almost cried. I wish she was still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
She passed away a few years ago. And I wish you could see all this that's happening.
Differing beliefs, but I believe she is. And I believe she's living on, you know, her legacy. You are a living legacy to her unconditional love, as you said, her willingness to step into that role. Now I'm going to get, and pick you up. Yeah. And, you know, and now you get to do this because somebody decided to make that choice. So she's living through you now. Yeah. Which is all the more reason to keep doing what you're doing, right?
We're both getting so emotional right
now. We're on the couch. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Transitioning.
Thank you.
No, God, thank you for sharing. Because like I said, like, that's why we do what we do. Because, you know, people going through these things, right? They feel so alone. Because I've had my own fair share of dark shit, if you will. And I deal with anxiety in a debilitating way. And it's so important to talk about these things and say these things out loud, because then other people go, oh, it's not just me.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody did pull through that darkness and they're doing amazing things and making this creative art and speaking to the world. Like that's a really valuable thing that you're doing. So thank you for being vulnerable, because that's, you know, not easy all the time.
Thank you.
Moving forward, so you picked yourself up. She helped you pick yourself up from your bootstraps. What did that look like? Like, where did you start? Did you go back and hit the stage? Did you start writing? You made a new album? Like, where did you go from there?
Well,
therapy, I assume.
Yes. I found
good starting place.
Found an amazing psychologist who helped me quite a bit. We did some EMDR. We did a bunch of things. I also, on my own initiative, I just had this gut feeling that like, I believe that your body and your mind are connected. Mm-hmm. And I've learned so much about how true that is. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I mean, this is becoming more common knowledge, but a lot of people don't realize like 70% of your neurotransmitters are made in your gut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is what feeds your brain.
Yes. Your gut is your second brain, basically.
If you are not eating right, mm-hmm. you are not going to think right, right? So I quit processed sugar, caffeine, alcohol,
oof,
and changed my diet and ate super clean.
Wow.
For like 6 months.
Wow.
To give myself the best chance to like heal.
Yeah.
And I think that made a big difference. And then like, therapy and just like really motivated because I was like, I don't want to keep living like this and I don't want to keep feeling like this. And she gave me this space to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And focus on that.
Yeah.
Her and my uncle. And like, that's just a lot of hard work and drive and like really wanting to do it, you know?
Yeah. Taking that as fuel for your fire, basically.
Yeah. And then, cause I was just like, I can't keep going like this.
Yeah.
And so I really like analyzed and I really looked at like, I did the work and I analyzed like, what is it? Like, why do I feel this way? Is this like healthy for me? Like, where is this coming from? Like asking me all of the hard questions mm-hmm. that you really need to ask to figure out where things are coming from, why you're getting triggered, and then integrate all of those things into one thing.
Yeah.
And learning how to love myself.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest piece she helped with, you know, because a lot of that other stuff, like you can do that work on your own, but having that validation of somebody who really shows you that you can be loved unconditionally, like shows you, like consistently for a period of time is huge. And there's so much research too that shows how powerful that is. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of make it a point to pay that forward. And I talk about this stuff on my live streams because I feel like it's so important to tell people like, hey, shit is hard. Yeah. Sometimes it's up. Yeah. And like, you know, and like, screw all those people that tell you have to put on a happy face all the time.
That's
like,
right.
That's okay. But also, you know, you do also have a responsibility to like, unfortunately, not everything that's put on us is most of the stuff is not our fault. Like, especially if you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
Like, but we do have a responsibility to like, okay, now you have this.
Yeah.
Now what are we going to do with it?
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
So,
I do want to talk about that with your Twitch, your lives.
Mm-hmm.
How often, tell everybody where to find you. I'm sorry, I'm not a Twitcher. I found your Twitch, but I'm not like, I don't know the lingo. I feel very old right now. But like, when do you do that? How often do you do that? How do they find you and all that stuff? Because telling those stories along with your music, obviously, is very important.
Yeah. So I live stream on Twitch right now. I'm only doing like once a week.
Okay.
And then I also, on TikTok, mm-hmm. I do live stream some of my gigs.
Oh, so, cool. Very cool.
People
That's
can
great.
watch me do my live gigs on TikTok.
I'm very familiar with YouTube, and I was watching your Nashville stuff on YouTube as well, which is so great.
Yeah.
I love the space in your shows. And by that, I just mean the breath that happens. Like, you're not afraid to like take things slow and talk. And I love that. Like, I love it just feels very intimate. I don't know. I'm only looking at you on stage, so I don't know what this side of everything looked like, but it just looked so intimate. Like you were in a like living room setting with you. You've got that power to like make whatever's happening feel right here. Mm-hmm. Like you just made me feel like that's not even there. You know what I mean?
Aww.
And that's, you can't teach that.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah,
that was back like that.
Well, that was the first thing that stood out because I don't know. Dennis and I use the word performative from time to time. And I would say whatever the word opposite of that is, what, like authenticity, I guess, is what you have. You have a lot of authenticity and just letting yourself, like, I like artists. My favorite of all time was Janis Joplin. And I love artists that aren't afraid to like open themselves and sort of bleed on stage for people to see. so that others can learn and feel that pain or that joy or whatever that is. And you've got that vibe of like, you're not afraid to be that artist. And I think that is going to go a long way for you. I'm fortune telling over here.
That means so much.
Thank you for coming to our therapy TED Talk. This may be the deepest interview we've ever done, but you know what? It was worth it. All right, so what's next for you? Let's go into promotional mode here. What is next for you?
So I'm working on my third record right now. I am also probably going to be re-releasing an album that I did with my old band in Los Angeles.
Oh, cool.
I haven't made an announcement on what date yet, but it's very rock and roll. It's really fun. If you think of like Hollywood rock and roll, that's like that album.
That's my vibe. I can't wait. I'm here.
Yeah, and then the new album, which is all, it's a solo album, that is going to be... think post-emo, pop, punk, alternative.
Oh, cool.
Rock.
Okay.
I think it's really cool because just based on what you were just talking about, it kind of encompasses that.
Yeah.
It's very intimate, but it's also very
powerful.
I've gotten a lot of positive reception from playing the songs, like even just acoustic at my gigs and online on Twitch already.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's rad. Well, I'm going to become a Twitcher. Is that what the kids say?
Yeah.
Or TikToker. I'm not even that. So Joyce Lee, find her, everybody. Obviously, you're so wonderful and powerful. And thank you for doing what you do. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for teaching me about whiskey.
Yeah.
Yes. What were you going to say?
Oh, I forgot to mention one more thing.
Yeah, please.
One of the songs is going to be on this new album, won an award.
Do tell. We love awards.
It's the first award I've ever gotten. I won a award for best song for my song Invisible.
Yes, love that one. Saw that one on YouTube.
Yeah, yep. Which is going to be off this next album that I'm working on.
That's coming
right
up.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really exciting.
And what was the award? What was it for? Or what was it called?
It was for the Songwriters That Play Song Contest.
Okay.
In San Luis Obispo, and I won the award for best song. So I have a trophy in my house now, which is really cool.
Okay, buy a case, because more are coming. That's one of many to come.
Yeah.
That's so rad. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You don't have any whiskey left, but cheers to
I
that.
did. Cheers.
Well, find the award-winning Joyce Lee online. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching.